of filmed together, and that's how I met you. But I kind of want to go back and find out, like, how did you become a pro wrestler? Like, walk me through how that works.
Well, it happened a long, long time ago. I was bartending in a bar, playing college football, and the bouncers also were on my team, and they were off chasing girls or something, and this fight breaks out in the bar. And I lift open the chute in the bar, and I go out there, and there's these two guys, and I threw one guy in a headlock, and I grabbed the other guy in a fish hook, and I threw them both out of the bar.
Wow.
And then those two guys wanted to fight me. And I grabbed the door, and I pull the door closed, and I'm standing inside the bar. They're outside the bar, and I'm kind of doing the nanny, nanny, nanny. And over behind me, off to my right, was a wrestling promoter. And he hands me his business card, and I snatched it out of his hand, and I says, "If you don't get the hell out of here," I said, "I'm going to beat your ass too." And he's just like, call me, something like, "Hey kid, we can make a lot of money together." I had a mullet down to the middle of my back, and it was the 80s.
Yeah, I was going to ask when this was.
Yeah, full of muscles and 33-inch waist, and I was looking good.
Nice.
So and that's
who did you play football for, by the way?
Morehead State University.
Okay, that's in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, by Fargo.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
So this is like what, early or late 80s that this happened?
Mid
80s. Yeah. Nice.
Good. And no, I had hurt my shoulder, and I played up there for 2 years, and I had my shoulder fixed, and then I went off and played JUCO ball at junior college called Inver Hills. And I played there for 2 years and hurt this shoulder. And then I had some friends going to Normandale Junior College to go and get an education, but they're going to play football. And they're just, come with, talk to the coach, blah, 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 blah. Nice. All right. So I talked to the coach, and he took my name down and ran my name and everything. And I still had eligibility left. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm not going to mention which school, but the athletic department caught on fire.
Wow.
And the athletic director never submitted my my name or anybody's name to the NCAA. So they had no record of me playing 2 years somewhere. And needless to say, I finished my career at Normandale Community College. I was 26 years old.
Wow.
I was I think there's 2 of us that were 26, or 3 of us that were 26. Yeah, it was right after the Gulf War, and a couple great veteran guys around the team, and yeah.
And this is when the bouncer incident happened.
That was 4 years earlier.
4 years earlier. Okay.
Oh no! I was. Yeah. That was like four years earlier, because I'd been professional wrestling now for. July was my first match. I had to have been 20.
20 years old, huh?
Yeah. So, yeah, this is 33 years going strong.
What was that first? Tell me what happened after that. How did you get started? Like after this bouncer incident happened, this guy gives you this card. What happens then?
He gives me his business card, and I don't know who the hell he is. I kick him out of the bar. I put his card in my pocket. And this is back, in the day where the bartenders had to wear the bow tie and the cummerbund and the black pants, and it was a nice club.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm doing laundry, and I go into my pocket, empty my pockets in case there's some dollars or anything in there, and I see this business card in there, and it says Ambassador Sausage. And I don't know if you guys have Ambassador Sausage there,
no.
But have you ever seen the little wiener with the top hat and the cane?
Okay.
It'll be in the meat section. He owns Ambassador Sausage. He also owned the IWA, the International Wrestling Association.
Oh yeah.
And so I always wanted to be in the NFL, but I always loved wrestling. And I called him up and met him over in Northeast Minneapolis, or I should say Northeast Minneapolis. and they he took me out for lunch. We had a meal, and he paid for me to get trained. And for about 6, 8, 9 months, whatever, it's so long ago I don't even remember. They beat the heck out of me.
Really?
Yes. And it was supposed to be a buddy of mine and I were supposed to go in as a tag team. We were going to be the Brawler and the Mauler.
Mm-hmm.
And he never went. So I just kept going through training. And I think there was 8 or 10 of us in our camp. And by the end of training, I was the only one standing there.
Really? So they're like, what are they? So what are they doing? You said they're beating the hell out of you. Is it just going through all the wrestling moves and just constantly taking abuse?
Yes, constantly taking a beating. And because I was the only one there, I got just beat up. And then I was farmed out, to other wrestling promotions and such. And it got to the point where, now keep in mind, I'm a young brawler. And, and the promoter promises you X amount of dollars. And at the end of the show, you hold your hand out and he's supposed to put money there and he doesn't.
Uh-oh.
He said, I didn't do so good at the gate and that kind of thing. And I'm like, why is that my fault,
Right.
So I was tired of getting screwed over. So I had retired and I was out for 11 years. And out of nowhere, I get a phone call. And this guy on the phone, he's another wrestling promoter. He's like, is this the Brawler? And I'm like, what the hell is this? Nobody's called me that in years. And he's like, yeah, I'm up at, I don't remember the name of the bar either, but he's like, we're up here. And I'm like, I don't drink anymore. He's like, well, come up and have a pop. I'll buy you a pop. So I met these guys up there, and they're old school, old time wrestlers. And I met them up there, and they wanted me to go back into professional wrestling. And I said, no way in hell, no way in hell. And I'm very, if any of your fans out there have ever seen me wrestle, I do a lot of wrestling in Wisconsin. And if they ever see me wrestle out there, I'm very audience interactive. I always say I'm too pretty to be a baby face, so I'm a heel. And
so prior to this, you just had that one match, and then you didn't get paid, and then you were like, screw this, or how did that?
No. I had many matches before that.
Matches. Okay.
Yeah, but I was tired of not getting paid.
It happened a lot, is what you're saying.
A lot.
Gotcha.
And everything in the wrestling business is a work, And so they wanted me to come back out of retirement, and I said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Blah blah blah. Before I left, I had a 6-match contract with this promotion, and same thing happened. He stiffed me
again.
So right away. So what I did was, me and 2 other of my friends, we started our own promotion, which was also called the IWA, the Intercontinental Wrestling Association. And we started running 16, 18 shows a year. Our smallest crowd was 374, I believe it was.
Nice. And you named it that. You named it that to stick it to him a little bit with the same letters.
Well, I did 2 shows for him, and the first show he didn't do so good at the gate, so he says, "I'll get you at the next show."
Yeah.
All right. And I'm telling everybody, the Brawler's out of retirement, blah 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 blah, and and I'm no contract wrestler. I'm no John Cena or Hulk Hogan. But the people that know me wanted to come out and, you know, watch me get the snot knocked out of me, you know, and they would show up, and I would have, you know, 100 people there, and at $10 a ticket, why didn't he do so good at the gate? You know, why doesn't he pay me that? And he ripped me off 2 shows, and I'm not going to do a third one for him. So needless to say, we started our own promotion, and we're running 16, 18 shows a year. Heck of a draw. We were getting lots and lots of people, and all of a sudden, one by one, my business partners, they just didn't want to be part of it anymore.
Yeah. So you said you called it IWA, and the other one was called IWA. Did you do that? Right. Did you do that to stick it to him a little bit?
No. I wanted to. The guy who discovered me, he always treated me good.
Oh, okay.
You know, it was everybody else that he farmed. You know, that because I'm known in the wrestling business as an indie pro, which means I'm an independent wrestler. I can wrestle for anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm not under contract with anybody. And for people that don't know, it's like if you're building a house, you want to hire an independent contractor like a plumber or a heating guy or an electrician. You know, he's your independent, he's your indie contractor. That's what I do. I farm myself out to all these other promotions to wrestle. And because of the COVID deal, I haven't been in the ring since March.
Right.
So other than, you know, a shoving match here and there with loudmouths, you know, I probably have some ring rust on me. So
well, you know, I've seen you. You know, I've been next to you in person. And you're a pretty big dude. Do people still try to start stuff with you?
They do.
I wouldn't.
they do, and it's majority of them is the millennials. They're entitled, and I kind of look at them and be like, what? You know, and then when they want once I get touched, I get offended.
Yeah, and
then I have to touch back. So.
Are these guys? I mean, are these guys that are similar size to you, or are they just not too smart, or what's going on?
they're not bright, but their mouths are as big as me.
Gotcha.
You know, so but they look at it. They're like, oh, I'm not. You know, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything. Wrong answer. Wrong. You know, because I'm going to. I'm nobody's doormat.
Yeah. So going back, I want to go back to your first. When exactly was your first match? Like we're talking mid 80s then, and what was that? Yes. What was that first match like? I mean, you'd never done this before. You get into the ring. How does that work? What's that like?
Oh, I was so amped up.
Yeah.
I had a cheesy gimmick, and I've always wrestled professionally as the Brauler. And my first wrestling name, this is an exclusive here. Because of the mullet, I was going to be known as Samson Sterling.
Samson Sterling, nice.
Samson Sterling because of the long blonde hair.
Right, the biblical reference there.
And I was working at the bar, the same bar that I threw these guys out. The owner comes in, he goes, "Hey, is it Brawler Brault?" And I turned and I looked at him, I says, "What did you say?" And he says, "Brawler Brault." And I'm like, you know, like, what a dummy. Why didn't I think of that? And ever since that day, I've always been the Brawler.
The Brawler, yeah.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, I used to drink quite a bit too. So if you looked at me wrong, all my football buddies from high school and college got all kinds of stories that they remember that I don't, of me getting in a fight.
So it wasn't just a clever name then.
No, it kind of fit, believe it or not.
Okay.
And I say that humbly. It fit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the kind of guy that you don't want to fight with, because if you're a good fighter and we're going toe to toe, I'm going to kick you. I'm going to bite you. I'm going to scratch your eyes out. And I'm trained in Krav Maga. I'm a level 3.
Oh yeah, I
And
read that.
yeah, it's all about separation.
Mm-hmm.
And my instructor was a great guy. Mike Rosen was his name, and great guy. And he's actually from Israel.
Okay.
And yeah, and he would always say, you know, you want to go home at night. You want to go home at night. Well, I don't want to go to the hospital. I want to go home.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
if that guy wants to go to the hospital, then he just should have kept his mouth shut, you know?
Sure.
So,
Well, so tell me about that first match versus like the matches you're doing now. You know, tell me about the difference between being an experienced wrestler
night and
compared
day,
to
night and day, night and day. I go out there, I do the job,
Mm-hmm.
and very little psychology. And what I learned over the years is I was taught how to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And it dawns on me like, And over time, I work for every promoter all over. And let's put the Brawler over. And I'm like, I've never won a match a day in my life. You know, I'm a bad guy. I'm a heel. I'm a cheater. And so I had to come up with a finishing move. And it used to be an inverted pile driver, like the tombstone, like the Undertaker.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was an inverted pile driver, and then it dawns on me like, I'm the Brawler. I brawl. Why would I want to give anybody an inverted pile driver or a tombstone?
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with the Brawler bomb.
The Brawler
and
bomb.
Right here it is. It's the Brawler bomb.
And what do you do? Tell me about the move.
It's a punch.
Just a punch.
It's a punch. And if I hit you square, down you go.
Down you go.
Like a majority of the opponents. and the crowd, you know, I'm the kind of guy that the crowd loves to hate. You know, the women want to be with me and the men want to be me.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I think that's really great for any kind of storyteller from wrestling is the concept of the hero and the heel. You know, you can be very successful as a hero. You can be very successful as a heel. The one thing you can't be is boring.
I'm definitely not boring.
You're not boring, no.
I'm usually bouncing off the walls and just getting ready. And I love the crowd. If it wasn't for the crowd, I wouldn't have a job. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So I get them involved. And when I get them involved, I get them to yell back at me. and it's easy, like especially in Wisconsin where everybody's big and fat. I can make fun of that.
Oh yeah.
and it's easy. They're off eating cheese and drinking beer, you know, and I'm going to the gym.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there feeding their face full of what do you guys have there? Kubasa? What is it called?
Kibasa, I think, but
whatever. You're eating those sausages and
probably
big
Johnsonville brats.
Whatever, and clumps of cheese and drinking cold beer, and you know, they're looking at me saying, "Oh, I can beat him. I can beat." You can't even, you know, wear your pants right without the crack showing at your behind them. You know, it's crazy.
Did you know? Did you know right away that you would be a heel? Was that from day one, or did that take a while to develop?
Oh, right away.
Right away, huh?
Well, yeah, I don't put up with nothing. So, you know, you gotta have a sharp tongue in the wrestling business. Thick skin, sharp tongue. And I always say I've never been much of a wrestler. I've always been a brawler.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want to come out and see all the high flying gymnastics crap, you know, go to the Olympics. You want to come out and be entertained, holla for the Brawler.
Yeah, for sure. Why did you know you wanted to be the heel though versus the hero? Just because you didn't want to do all you just felt like that's your personality or
attitude. Well, over the years, you know, I've been doing it a long time, and many people have seen me, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm so gosh darn pretty, but they love me. Yeah, I'm a 6-time world heavyweight champion. I'm a 13-time tag team champion.
Nice.
And I still retain the belts with my partner, Greg Hertz. You know, we are Pink Nation. We are the best looking professional athletes in all professional sports.
I just wonder because some heels kind of develop into it. Like I was thinking about like Kurt Angle. I don't think he started as a heel, but he really kind of dove into that role after a while, and people really love to chant "You suck" when he comes out.
Yeah. He probably got sick and tired of the BS and decided, you know, I'm going to do it my way.
Gotcha.
You know, and Kurt, he's a legitimate tough guy. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, he's a legit tough guy, and nice guy.
You've met him then?
I've met everybody. I'm the Brawler, baby.
You know all those guys.
I know all those guys. Yeah, I go down to Tennessee. I got a good buddy down in Tennessee, Clarksville, Tennessee, by the name of Chase Stevens. We did a movie together called Area of Conflict.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Howe's in it. Crimson's in it from Impact. They all wrestle Impact Wrestling. Ryan Howe was season 1 winner on MTV's Tough Enough. Yeah, he's the man. Chase Stevens, he's the man. Crimson, he's the man. You know, we were on set together filming the movie Area of Conflict for 18 days. We were no further than 2-3 feet apart, all of us. You know, cool. And you would think professional wrestlers, egos this big, and not one bit of drama.
That's good.
You know, I've done over 70 movies, and this is the only movie I've never wanted to go home because I love these guys. These guys are great. They were so pleasant and so wonderful to be around.
What about the movie that we were in, Bitch Slapped Again, though? Surely you didn't want to go.
Bitch Slapped Again.
You didn't want to go home after that, right? That was great fun.
Yeah, I wanted to move to Wausome.
Did you really?
No.
No.
No. I love Wausome. I love Jared.
Yeah.
I think he's a freaking genius. He needs to use me more. And
I think so too.
Everything he does, and I'm not saying this to stroke his ego, but everything he does is amazing. It's so entertaining. It's so funny. The guy is brilliant. You know,
I think so too.
I've probably done a half a dozen movies with him, and he's brilliant.
Yeah, Jared is the only guest to be on my podcast 3 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to change that.
Yeah. Awesome.
We're gonna have to change it. You need to holler for the Brawler a lot more.
I can definitely.
I'd like to be on your podcast with Jared.
That would be a lot of fun. We should get you guys next time you come to Wausome. We should do that.
We should. That sounds good.
So Brawler,
I've got family in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. So when I drive to Michigan,
you can swing through. Yeah.
I go right through Wausome.
Perfect.
Twice. Once there and once back.
So hey, speaking of movies, how did you get into the film part of it? Was that kind of a natural progression from wrestling?
Well, I always wanted to be an actor, but you know, when you're a jock in high school, you don't want to put yourself out there like that. And
gotcha.
If I knew then what I knew now, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have cared. And but I used wrestling as a platform. And one of my very, very first film was called Burial Ground. And I played, what was my character? Inmate number 4. And I wanted to do one movie just to get it off my bucket list and say that I did it.
How long ago was that?
What year is it?
Yeah, thereabouts.
2009.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of my wrestling buddies called me up and he says, "Hey, you want to be in a movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's get it off my bucket list."
Right.
So, I'm very good at time management, and I always show up early, and I typically stay late.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed up early. I'm flirting with the wardrobe girls. I'm sitting right by the craft service table. It's, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm drinking a cup of coffee, eating a donut. And, people are walking all over the place. And I said, and these guys keep staring at me. So I'm flirting with the wardrobe girl. I'm like, what are they looking at?
Yeah, I was going to say, by the way, you're having observed your flirtation game. That's pretty good as well. You're pretty skilled
My
at
what?
that. I said your flirtation skills, like I've observed those and they're pretty good too.
Hell yeah, I'm the brawler, baby. But I'm like, what do these guys keep looking at? And she looks at me. She goes, "They probably want to give you a line." And I'm like, "Whoa, I don't do drugs." She goes, "No, a line in the movie." And I was like, oh, this is how green I was. I'm like, oh. Mm-hmm. So they come over and they said, "Let me see your smile." And I smiled at them like, and they're like, "That's your smile?" And I'm like, "Oh, no." And then I gave them a nice smile and they're like, "Got it." They walked away. And I'm like, what is this all about? And they come back and they're like, "We want you to stay a line in the movie." I'm like, cool. I go, what does that mean? I said that to the wardrobe gal, and she goes like this. I'm like, money? She says, yeah. I'm like, cool.
Nice.
So, yeah, who would have thought? I've been talking for free forever. And so my line was, "We don't care what you want, Murdoch." I still remember it to this day, 11 years later. First movie. And he says, "Okay, here's your mark." And this, I'm like, whoa. What's my mark? What does that mean? And he puts a rock down and he says, "Stand here."
Right there. Yeah.
I said, okay. And he says, he's going to come up and he's going to say, "Hey, I don't want any trouble from you guys." And then I say, "We don't care what you want, Murdoch." I said, that's easy. He calls action. He comes walking up and he says, hey, I don't want any trouble from you guys." And I went, damn it, I know your name's Murdoch. And they call cut. Everybody's laughing. Okay? Everybody's laughing. And here I am thinking, my big break, here comes Hollywood, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I'm messing up.
I think acting more than anything else is the thing that looks so simple, but is so hard to do.
Oh, it's so hard.
You watch things on TV and you're like, oh, I could do that. And then you try to actually do it, even something small, and you're just like, wow, that was way harder.
Well, you know how many years I spent in the helmet, plus all the cheers I took to the brain and everything. So it just doesn't click right. So he calls cut, comes out, tells me to calm down. He says, "We don't care what you want, Murdoch." I said, I know, I got it. He calls action. He says, "Hey, I don't want any trouble from you guys." And then I said a bad word. And then I said, "Damn it, Murdoch." And everybody's laughing. Well, I don't know what the heck I did.
Yeah.
So everybody's laughing. I go back. I said, I know where I'm supposed to stand. I know what my line is. And they're all laughing. Like, and I'm telling the producer and the director, like, okay, let's let the guy be. Right. And I said, I'm ready whenever you are. They call action. And he says, hey, I don't want any trouble from you guys. "We don't care what you want, Murdoch." And boom, he punches me. And I didn't know it was coming. It was right in the gut. And I sold it, and they call cut. And I looked at him and I says, what did I do wrong? And then everybody starts laughing. They said, no, it's just the nature of the beast. He says, we got to do it again. I was like, why? He says, got to get a different angle. I'm like, really? So I did it in 3 takes, and here I am breaking myself up about it when it's no big deal. And I'm like, oh man. So they had the camera guy sitting on a trolley, and it had a railroad track that kind of went all the way around us. So we had to do it again from a different angle.
Yeah. We
did it all again. I nailed it every single time, simple line. And he punches me. I keep selling it. We did that for 18 takes. And I can tell you how I remember that. I had to wrestle that night in Minneapolis. And I leave the movie set or the location. I go home, take a shower, grab my gear to go wrestle. And I looked at my belly, and I have 18 black and blue marks. And that is the truth.
Well, and, I definitely got a sense of, from working with Jared, I got a sense of like what filmmaking really is, the multiple takes and the waiting around and then the taking. It was really interesting. It's been a really eye-opening experience. So I haven't been.
It is.
I haven't been punched in the stomach yet, but maybe that's coming up. We'll have to ask Jared about that.
Well, if any of your fans know Jared and they know his style of perfectionism, they would understand it.
Right.
Because the littlest thing, Jared wants to make everything perfect. And something that should take 4 or 5 takes will take 40 or 50 takes.
Yeah.
He's going to tell you that I'm wrong. But look at the footage, and the footage is us getting exhausted as actors getting exhausted because we did it 40, 50, 60 times.
Right.
I don't know where this guy gets his energy, but I think when we have like lunch and stuff, he does he's got a vein tap with Red Bull or Monster or something that goes right to his veins because the guy's 100 miles. You know him, the guy's 100 miles an hour, and he does everything. He sets the lighting, he sets the camera. He tells somebody to push a button, but he's got it all set. And he does the stunts, and he gets everything just ready. And when they talk about a one-man show or a one-man gang, that's Jared.
That is Jared, yeah. I mean, it's really impressive just the level of detail that he puts in, and also just watching his stuff over the years. I think I first wrote a story on him back in almost 10, 11 years ago, and just watching how much he progressed from those films back then to now. Yeah. I mean, I feel like his film Indie Guys, his last feature film, like I felt that could have been in theaters. I mean, easily, if I went to the movie theater and I saw that, I would think it was a Hollywood film. I mean, he's just so good.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny. Yeah.
I'm still mad that he hasn't had me in that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, so you've done. I was looking at your IMDb credits. Like you've had quite a few films under your belt now. I imagine that you've gotten more comfortable with acting and being in films than you were in that very first experience.
I wish I made more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was a Super Bowl. When it was in Minnesota here. I forget what year it was, but I had 5 commercials on NBC.
Really?
Yeah. And 3 of them were for Care 11. Eric Candiotti was the creative director over there, vice president, creative director, and he's another brilliant dude. If you want to look up his IMDb, he is genius. And sorry. And we did like a Doritos commercial, and then we did it was after the stadium was built and stuff like that. But I had 5 commercials on. And George Clooney, I remember George Clooney had one, I think it was a Nespresso commercial. And I know he made more money from that one commercial than I did in all 5.
Darn you, George Clooney.
Yeah, I need George Clooney money.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
I've been not IMD. What do you call it? Not Facebook, Instagramming and Twittering Adam Sandler, telling
Oh,
him I want him, because he does those sports movies, Happy
yeah.
Gilmore stuff like that. I want him to do a wrestling movie
Oh,
where he
yeah.
could be my manager or something, and he won't respond back. So Adam Sandler, when you're watching this, call me. You got my digits.
Yeah, come on, Adam. We got a wrestling movie all set for you.
Right.
So, what's wrestling like these days? I mean, I think you're a little older than me, and I'm 40. So, do you feel like it's more difficult now, or do you feel as good as ever? Tell me about that?
Well, I feel fine. I'm a lot smarter in the business.
Yeah.
And I know how to take care of myself. And I think I have a good enough rapport with the bookers or the
Mhm.
promoters that they put me against better guys,
Oh, okay.
and they just they take care of me, and we put on just good matches, good show. And
Do you feel like it reduces the risk of injury wrestling with someone who's more
oh,
experienced because they're a
absolutely,
lot smarter about that? Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's all about the crowd.
Yeah.
Like I said, if we don't have a crowd, we don't have a job.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I said, when I mentioned like Ryan Howe, Chase Stevens, Greg
Mhm.
Hertz, Crimson, all those guys, just watch how they interact with the crowd. I mean, it's such a psychological sport that you have to be smarter than the sport,
Mhm.
or you have to be smarter than the athlete. You know,
Mhm.
because it's like I said, wrestling in Wisconsin, it's easy. It's so easy to get the crowd to boo me, and when you get
Right.
when you get 4,000 people chanting "You suck,"
Hmm.
they don't even know that it's music to my ears.
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That means I've done my job, and to
Did you
go out
always
there,
did you always feel like that? Like in the beginning, was that hard to get used to, or did you just always get a kick out of that?
I always got a kick out of it.
Really
Always, always,
interesting.
yeah, yep. They had a I don't even know if it's around anymore because it just became like such gossip, like high school girl drama crap. And they would always talk about the brawler being this and the brawler being that, and I'd get mad.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to an old wrestler. He says they're talking about you. That's good. He
Yeah.
says when they stop talking about you, you're dead.
Right. Well, that's
I'm
like what
like,
I was saying before. It's like you can be a heel and you can be a hero, but you can't be boring.
right.
If they're not talking about you, that's the worst thing.
Well, then I made the mistake of giving my mom the website.
Oh, oh no,
Yeah. And
that's not
when
good.
they're talking about, yeah, my mother, she loves me. When they're talking about, her baby boy like that, she gets on there and she's getting in all these pissing contests
Oh
with all
no,
these smirks. And I had literally had to call her and say, "Stop it."
Mom, you got to stay off the internet.
Right. And she did. She
Mm,
says, "But I don't like them saying what they're saying about you and this
yeah,
and trust me, I sound just like her." And and she says, "I don't like what they're saying about you."
yeah,
And I'm like, "Mom, it's nature of the beast. It's my job.
right.
Well, they can be nice." And I'm like, "Ma, you know, sweet lady, sweet lady."
Mm.
Yeah.
So what does your fitness routine look like now, and how does that differ from what it looked like when you were first wrestling?
I eat a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, to hell with eating clean.
Hmm.
Even at my age, I can gain weight or lose weight still pretty easy.
Okay.
Um, it's getting rid of the fat. That's the hard part for me.
Yeah.
I go to the gym every day, and since the COVID deal again, I hadn't been to the gym since March, and I think we opened up 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that? Almost 3 months of not lifting weight.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
Not having to go to the gym every day,
Oh yeah.
not having to be sore, and when you get older, you learn how to deal with vitamin I. And everybody says, vitamin I?
Yeah.
Ibuprofen.
What
And
do you mean by vitamin? What do you mean by vitamin I? Tell me that.
Ibuprofen.
Oh, ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if your knees hurt, I got bad shoulders, so shoulders hurt, neck hurts, back hurts, vitamin I.
Now, are you lifting? You said you were going every day. Are you lifting every day, or is it a mix of lifting and cardio, or?
Are you allowed to say cardio on the podcast? I didn't know if you were allowed to swear.
Is that a naughty word?
That's a naughty word. I don't know. I don't know too many wrestlers that do the cardio.
Really?
I know a ton that work out,
Huh.
but I don't know a ton that do the cardio. I've never witnessed it. I'll tell you that. I never have, but
isn't there a stamina factor involved with wrestling though? I mean, it's so physical and
yeah.
But you get that enough from lifting then?
Let's just hope I do.
Let's just hope you do.
Yeah. I blow up quite a bit. And if I need to catch my air or anything, I'll powder out of the ring and walk around, and hopefully my opponent comes and chases me, because then when he gets back in the ring, I can stomp him with the put the boots to him,
So I was going to ask, and I don't know if this is like crossing any wrestling boundaries or not, but like how much of it is scripted and how much of it is ad-libbed when you do these matches?
I'm going to answer this in a very simple question.
Okay.
Like cardio is a bad word.
Yeah.
We in the wrestling business, we don't like the F word.
Gotcha.
And that's fake.
Yeah.
And you know how many times people have come up to me and say, "Oh, you're a fake professional or you're a fake wrestler."
Mm-hmm.
So I offer them, let me give you a fake body slam.
Yeah.
And I bet you I've offered 10,000 of them. I'm not even kidding.
Any takers?
Not one taker.
Not one taker, yeah.
Not one.
Well, that's one of the things about wrestling that I always thought was interesting, and that I think a lot of people don't realize is that, this is still, getting slammed from like 10 feet in the air, like that still hurts. Like it doesn't matter if it's scripted or not.
You're damn right, yeah. It hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't mind falling, taking the bump.
Yeah.
It's getting up. That's what hurts.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. And that's when you feel every ache and pain, because the impact is quick, but it's getting up and you're like, oh my goodness. And you got to contort and you got to move and you got to grab the ropes, or and I don't like it when my opponent comes over and tries to pick me up again, because that just makes me look weak.
Yeah.
I as the brawler, I can get up. And, once I get up and they're still in the ring, they should leave the ring, because I am going to put a hurt on them.
Right.
And, if I'm ever wrestling in Wisconsin, especially in your area, you should come, you should bring people, and you should see.
No, I definitely do want to see.
Yeah, because
And do you have anything on the books for this year? And
no, everything got canceled.
Everything's canceled.
Yeah. I was going to say, I got 22-inch arms, 22 inches of twisted steel and sex appeal.
Right.
And so I don't know when I get to see Greg Hertz again. He's my tag partner. So I don't know when Pink Nation is ever going to go again. But, I keep my nose to the grindstone, and I listen and I pay attention to things. And, there are some promotions getting ready, up and running. But, what's the crowd going to be like?
Well, that's the tricky part, right? Like,
like I said, it's all about the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing. It's tough for the entertainment industry in general right now because, the one thing that, if you're a restaurant, you can like have fewer tables and cut down on your wait staff. But the whole point of like entertainment is to bring people together. So that's really counterintuitive to what's going on right now with,
Right.
social distancing and all that.
Did you watch when it was on TV, WWE on Friday Night SmackDown?
No, I didn't. Mm-mm.
Yeah, they went from a packed house whatever city they were in, to doing just these house shows with nobody in the crowd, and it was like crickets.
It's weird. Yeah, I've been watching the UFC, and it's just weird without a crowd. Takes some
Right,
getting used
right.
to. But I think UFC probably isn't as dependent as wrestling is on the crowd because it's all part of that show and entertainment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you could still do the pay-per-view and such, but
Mm-hmm.
the psychology of the sport of professional wrestling is, and people don't even know it, is hearing the crowd chant,
Yeah.
holding up the signs.
Well, especially for a heel, that's your currency.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because, half of my brain, which isn't very much, half of my brain has to listen to the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't like what I'm doing, then I know I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, right, right. So are you concerned at all about having some ring rust when things do go back to normal, having so much time off?
I've got over 2,000 matches under my belt. If I can't squirt some WD-40 on me before I go out through the pipe and drape, there's a problem.
So you're pretty confident once it turns back on, you'll be good to go.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still go to the gym every day. I still go to work every day. I own a little handyman business too, so I'm pretty physical doing that, and I help the girlfriend out on her farm.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and that's where I'm at actually right now. I'm at a remote location. This is my getaway. This is when the paparazzi and everybody leaves me alone.
Yeah, you get followed around a lot with the cameras and all.
I remember I did a Fiat campaign, and I'm pumping gas in my car, and I don't have a pink Fiat, and I should, but they didn't give me a pink Fiat. And all of a sudden I see this lady peeking her head around the pumps, and it's cold. It's like late November, right around Thanksgiving time.
Yeah.
And I finished putting fuel in my car, and she keeps peeking at me. And I put the gas cap back on, and I look at her, and I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Shouldn't you be in a pink car?" And I'm like, "You recognize me?" She says, "Well, yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much." Yeah. So, and now
did she ask for an autograph?
No. But I was so blown away and so flattered that she recognized me.
That's awesome.
Do you remember when Jimmy Fallon took over for the Tonight Show?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
His first night on, before the show started, the Fiat commercial ran.
Oh, there you go.
And it was the last commercial. Then it was Jimmy Fallon.
Nice.
The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. But it was my commercial. Then it was Jimmy Fallon.
So what's that like when you're just sitting at home watching TV and there you are on the commercial?
Oh, it's incredible because I did some things for Dennis Kirk. I did some things for Motorcycle Show and the Donnie Smith Motorcycle Show.
Mm-hmm.
And they ran like in the morning, and I'm an early riser, and I'm drinking coffee and eating donuts again, and that's kind of like the Brawler's staple. And I'm watching, and my commercial comes on for the Donnie Smith, and I'm like, no way, and it was like prime time morning stuff, and it depended on what was showing during the evening.
Yeah.
Like if it was like a sewing show or something on TV, they wouldn't run my commercial.
Oh.
But if it was like a guy's TV show, you know, they would run the commercial. I'm like, sweet, you know. So it was all strategically placed, and I don't know if it's rude of me to say my commercial, but I think my part's just a simple part compared to the behind the scenes stuff, the people that do all the editing, and
Oh yeah.
they work so hard, you know.
Yeah, well, starting this podcast, I started to get a sense of like how much goes into producing video. It's even with something simple like this, it's like there's so many things to think about that. When I was just doing audio, it was a lot simpler.
Right. The people that work behind the scenes, whether I'm doing a commercial or a movie or whatever, they work twice as hard as what I do. All I have to do is deliver a product that the director wants. They have to deliver a product that the director wants with lighting, sound, no more shadows. Make sure, like, when you walk, that you don't hear the when you're walking. I mean, there's so much detail going on.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, putting marks and electrical and and then moving things. You got to have people move stuff, and like if you're changing locations, and you got to load up the truck, drive it to wherever, unload the truck, set it up, and then I show up looking like shiny like a penny, and then I deliver my line, and then I go sit in a chair, and then people bring me like water or pop or, you know, a sandwich, not a cheese ball like you Wisconsin people do.
Here we go again.
Yeah, they bring me all kinds of, you know, treats. And I think it was my fourth movie. It was a major motion picture. And I'm sitting in the green room getting ready. And the guy comes over, he goes, "Can I interest you in a carbonated beverage?" And I was like, "A what?" He's like, "A carbonated beverage." I'm like, "You mean like a pop?" He goes, "Yes, like a pop." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take a pop." He's like, "What flavor?" I'm like, "You got a Mountain Dew?" He's like, "I will get you one." And he leaves, and he comes back, and boom, has a can of pop for me, can of Mountain Dew. And then he's got this crystal glass full of, you know, beautiful, like hand carved ice. It was just like you see on TV. Like it was just beautiful. And he goes to hand me the glass, and I reached up and I took the can of pop out of his hand, and I cracked it open myself. I said, I'm good. And he's like, "Oh, you can't do that." And I'm thinking to myself, what? I look at him and I says, "What do you mean?" I said, "I haven't opened pop since I was a kid."
Yeah.
And he says, "Your talent. I could lose my job." And I'm like, sorry.
Huh.
You know, and honestly, between you and me and, you know, your millions of followers, I don't think the guy's going to lose his job by me cracking open a can of pop. But
so where these films that you're doing, like, where are they based out of primarily? Are a lot of them in the Midwest, or are you traveling all over the country to do these?
Yeah, I've gone all over. I've gone all over. But I'm drinking my pop, and I'm thinking to myself, now I know how why Lindsay Lohan is such a diva.
Oh yeah.
I had somebody dress me. I had somebody do my hair and makeup. Very little because I'm so pretty. And then I had somebody bring me a can of pop and a sandwich, and if I needed anything, "Do you want a warm towel?" Like I'm riding first frickin' class or something. Like, what do I need a warm towel for? And she's like, "To damp off your forehead." I'm like, what do I need to damp off my forehead? I'm sitting in a beautifully air-conditioned hotel room waiting for my scene to be shot.
Oh, it doesn't sound so bad, though. I mean, you get used to it, I think. Yeah.
No, but once I leave location or once I leave set, I go back home, and I'm no longer the brawler.
Yeah.
You know, I'm me, which means, you know, when my dog goes to the bathroom, I got to shovel it up.
Yep.
When my laundry's dirty, that means I got to wash it.
Yeah.
You know, and when I'm on a movie set or a commercial, I get people.
Yeah, I guess.
And
I guess
I
you didn't,
wish in my private life I could get people.
right. Yeah, I guess you didn't quite get that treatment in Wausome, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, Jared fed me like five
We
or
did.
six times.
We did have a lot of
And he
food.
put,
That was nice.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, egg rolls. Were you there for the egg rolls?
No, I was there for, I think, when he brought us KFC.
Oh, egg rolls. I don't
I
know
did
where the
remember
heck he
too.
got them from. I think he ordered like 3 dozen egg rolls.
Oh wait, I do remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of egg rolls.
Randy shows up and his eyes turn round. You know, he was like, egg roll.
Oh, good old Randy. Yeah, that
Randy's
was
great.
yeah, that was a fun time. I mean, that was probably the most involved of Jared's projects that I was involved with.
Oh,
Um,
he's
it
great.
was fun just to kind of be a part of it and see how all that works. Like it's pretty
I
cool. I
don't
thought.
know how. I don't know how he comes up with these ideas. But
Yeah.
Have you seen the Big Gift?
No, the big gift.
You haven't seen the Big Gift, one of Jared's movies.
No, I haven't seen that one.
I play Santa Claus in the movie.
Oh, I got to see that then.
And in the premise, it's on YouTube. You can YouTube the Big Gift.
Yeah, I thought I watched all of them. I guess I missed one.
Oh, and we did it in early December last year.
Oh, okay.
And he and his brother, you know his brother?
Yeah,
His
I
tiny,
haven't met him, but I've seen him in several of his films.
yeah, his tiny little brother. He's great. And they're I think Jared was over at Justin's house,
Mhm.
and they're wrapping presents, and Justin's wife said you gotta say from or to their son from Santa Claus.
Oh yeah.
And Justin says, why does, or maybe Jared said, why does Santa Claus always get credit for the big gift? That's a question.
Good question.
And then Justin, now this is the way I remember it. I don't know how accurate I'm telling the story. but Justin says to Jared, that's what you need to do a movie about.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was a Christmas. It had to be seasonal. It was like a Christmas fight competition film. And Jared plays the dad. He's upset that he's got to write Santa's name on the big gift. I'm Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I'm mad that he didn't write the name on the big gift. So I go to his house and we fight. And he beats up all my elves and we fight. And the fighting, Jared choreographed everything. And the guy's,
Yeah.
I think he's a freaking ninja.
Yeah.
But he flips me over and, he beats up Santa Claus. Who beats up Santa Claus? And
Jared,
yeah. And it fits my character because I'm kind of a jerk anyway. So, Santa Claus is a jerk.
I'm surprised I didn't see that. Maybe I did and I don't remember, but I feel like I would have remembered that.
Yeah, you'd see it because it's quick, boom, boom, boom. It's funny,
Mm-hmm.
it's comical. It needs to be a feature film.
Well, the craziest one that they did that I just still can't believe they did is the one where him and Randy jumped into the Eau Claire River at the Eau Claire.
Oh yeah, I saw that. There's ice floating on the river.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you guys are nuts.
Totally nuts. I said, how many takes did it do? He said, 1 take.
Yep. Yeah, they were gonna go do that twice.
No, yeah. And ice is floating. And when we filmed it, when we filmed the big gift, I was talking to him about it, and I'm like, was that real or was that CGI or something? Both Randy and Jared are looking at each other going, it was real. And Randy says, yeah, real cold.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, great guys.
Well, Brawler, this was a really fun podcast. I wanted to ask you, what have you got coming up that people should watch for? Is there anything in post-production that's coming out, or what's your latest film that you might want people to go see, or Anything like
Well, like
that?
I said, I did a early March. I did a commercial for Dennis Kirk where I get to
Okay.
sing and dance,
Ooh, there we go.
like a Broadway theater production type sing and dance. You know, I had
Huh.
my full beard at the time, and they didn't want to see the flexing muscles or anything. They wanted to see me light on my feet, so I got to tap
Mhm.
dance and sing and dance with motorcycle boots
Nice.
on. Yep. So if you go to Dennis Kirk, look
Mhm.
for that. And but I've got 2 movies waiting and 2 commercials waiting. We just got to get green lighted for it. So
Those are just held up for the COVID. Is that the deal?
that's
Yeah.
it.
What was the
That's it.
last, and what was the last movie that you made? You had one on Amazon Prime, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, Area of Conflict.
Area of Conflict. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about that. Yeah, you can. I probably should have plugged that. You could have. Yeah, tell people Amazon Prime, Area of Conflict,
There
Hollow
you
for the
go.
Brawler.
Cool. And if you want people to follow you, where should people, if people want to follow you, where should they go?
My website is thebrawler.com. Brauler, not a W.
Not a
The
W. Yeah.
W is spelled the wrong way. It's only one U.
One you.
Brauler, thebrawler.com. Or you could follow me on Instabook at The Brawler
Instabook.
or Facegram at Scott Brault. Twitter, The Brawler.
Cool.
What else is there?
I don't know. Snapchat, TikTok.
Nah, I don't think so. Who's TikTok?
I don't know. I'm too old to know what that is, but I know it's another thing.
I see those TikTok videos. I have enough trouble following Twitter, reading about the president and Jesse Ventura, and doing the Instagram and doing the Facebook that I don't have time for.
Yeah, there's just too many things. You gotta cut it off at some point. Yeah.
Right. And I had, what's that, Snapchat? I had Snapchat for a while, and I don't know. I think it gave my phone a cootie or something. Hell, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. It was just felt kind of pointless. Like, why am I doing this?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting too old for this stuff. But
the people should get a hold of you and tell you that you need the Brawler back on more. We can just talk some smack.
Hell yeah.
And especially about that Jared Crooks.
Yeah.
I want to be on when he's on.
I think that would be awesome. We're definitely going to make that happen for sure.
Good.
Anything else you want to leave listeners or viewers with?
Yeah. Stay away from the cheese. And go Vikings. Skol. Ooh, Skol.
Wow. We'll have to edit that part out, I think.
Don't edit it out. Skol Viking.
Well, hey, Brawler, this has been great. And I always end the podcast by having my guests say, keep it Wausome. So keep it Wausome, Brawler.
Keep it Wausome.
All right.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, all right.